This is, as you can see, ATC on the shirt. No, maybe we'll have like a video edit that says ATC. Anyway, this is one only Cyrus from attackculture.com. You hear my voice all over the place. Trenton is right there. Big T. Yes, you want to do any special intro?
Nah, not really. Everybody knows who we are.
Welcome to the mess. I thought you were gonna be all anonymous, man. Now, like, this will be like your first entry.
Yeah, this will be the first entry.
Mass. All right, so we are going to spend a few minutes, hopefully not too many, because I might get too passionate. We want to 100% focus on Candyman. We're not talking about 50 Cent, the candy shop. We're talking about the one and only Candyman. Yo, T, like, I know you know the original, man. Like, yo, do you want to set it up, man? Let people know, like, yo, that there was an original first and just kind of explain what we're doing, or you want me to?
I guess so. So the original Candyman, I think it was, I think it was 1992.
Yep.
The original Candyman, and then they did a follow-up. It was like 94, 96, something like that. Wow, but now we got Jordan Peele, who's been really huge in the horror, thriller genre, and so now he took his crack at it, and it's a whole new cast of people. We did get a little, this is exciting to talk about. It was fun.
Yo, I'm super excited, honestly, because I've been waiting to have somebody of your caliber to talk to about it and really dissect it since I saw it in August in theaters. So just for anyone who is going to, or not anyone, everyone who will be listening or possibly even watching this video, we're going to briefly, quickly, sort of longly dissect pretty much the new Candyman 2021 version, a couple references to the throwback one, and just dissect it. I'm going to say, you have to watch it for the culture, right? But man, I had some issues with it. I had some issues. I saw it in the theater and I had super high expectations because I'm a horror head, right? Like, I love the horror movies, right? And like, yo, I get it that we're living in a different era, but what's up with all these like message-driven horror movies where like the reality is the horror, not the blood and splatter and all that craziness, man?
Yeah, I think I understand exactly what you're talking about.
Okay.
Jordan Peele is like pretty classic for that with his approach to horror. And there's nothing wrong with what the Candyman has happened. What's happened with the legacy of Candyman? What he's done with it. It was a good movie. It was a great spin on it. But Jordan Peele has a way of connecting today's I guess climate, today's political climates, today's socio-political climate, in his movies with his stories, and those connections. I actually appreciate those connections. In the stories, I can feel it, and it makes sense. In this particular one, in the Candyman one, I'm not going to get too personal on the feelings with it.
Okay,
he did have some things in there that I was like, we probably didn't need that to connect with the story. But I understand why he puts those things there, because he wants people to feel like it's now. Yes. And just for clarity purposes, Jordan Peele's name is all over this to the point where everyone's like, oh, this is Jordan Peele's new movie. It's technically produced by Jordan Peele, directed by the one and only Nia DaCosta. So we just want to clear that up, because again, all you see is Jordan Peele getting attached to this, but it's pretty much he's that executive producer behind the scenes. I think he also had something to do with the Black Klansman as well. I think he had a like production or producer wise in that regard. But I agree with you. I love Get Out. Us threw me off, and now we're looking at Candyman. And I wanted to say this for a little bit later, but I'll just get right into it. Yo, man, I'm mixed technically, right? So I know both sides. But yo, white people are done really dirty in these Jordan Peele movies, man. I get it, but they make him so buffoonery, and it's like, yo, even Jordan Peele's mixed, right? And I get the overall message, but they're just too dumb. Like they're just way too dumb. In this Candyman, there were so many scenes in which like you just almost felt sorry for these dumb white people. I don't know about all of that, to be completely honest.
Okay.
I'm gonna say that with the Candyman story, it was always about injustice. So bringing that into a reality of today, of what injustice is like, socio-political, all that crazy stuff. Yeah, man, it is what it is. I don't know. I understand what you're saying. Where like in this one, Man, yo, it's hard to say this because I think Nia DaCosta's vision on this was dope.
Yes,
it was really dope. I honestly liked the way that it was filmed. I liked the angles that we got on everything. I liked the approach to the scenes. Honestly, I did. I think the scene that you might be talking about in particular was the gallery scene when they were in the gallery.
It was that one scene, and then like the girls in the bathroom. Remember that scene where like the little girls going into the bathroom, like the Asian, and like this is why I know it was specifically like aimed at white people. I'm sorry, because like the Asian girl who was like kind of in that crew, like basically dipped out of there, right? So I was like, oh yeah, we'll get her loose. But then again, that really doesn't add up because then. Okay. I'm gonna get too deep into it. I don't want to give out any spoilers, but again, that's just my personal thing. I relate it back to the Us movie as well, where like even the neighbors are like these overly white, rich neighbors, and it just, I don't know, man. Like I get his point. I just,
you know what? He may actually be doing that on purpose. Peele might actually be doing that on purpose to bring, I guess, that kind of like buffoonery out of I guess the white folks, because so long in Hollywood culture, it was the other way. It was the opposite way, where black folks are seen as lesser. So I mean, that could be it, man. I don't know. I don't know Jordan Peele like that.
Gotcha. No, and that is a really good point, because even as I say those points, and just for clarity, because we're living in like the current time. I say white people or dumb white people, I'm just saying how they are portrayed, right? So don't take it like I'm out here, like anti-white people or anything like that. But nonetheless, T, I don't want to go all over the place, man, but I do want to give a massive shout out to the one only we've been referencing her, Nia DaCosta. Really humongous accomplishment, man. The first black female director to debut #1 at the box office. It's 2021. Why has that not been done sooner, man? That sounds crazy.
Right? It's crazy that it's taken this long for that to actually happen. But yo, kudos and flowers for that. And I enjoyed the movie, man. The movie was great.
Gotcha. And 61 million total at the box office, man. So humongous success. I'm shocked we don't have Candyman 2 posters all over the place, because like when you get there, but everyone's waiting for a Get Out 2 as well. Yo, how do you feel about the hour and a half? Like 1 hour and 30 minutes-ish.
Yo, I think that's perfect, man. I think that's anything more than that, we get into that epic saga stuff, and that's a lot of dedication, man.
It is, and especially for someone like myself, I go to the movies religiously. Shout out to AMC Dine-In, shout out to a lot of places that I frequent over around these parts of the woods of Jersey. But man, I've been to a lot of 2+ hour films, and all you're doing the whole time is you're just thinking they could have cut out like 45 minutes of this film. It was so unnecessary. And I really do applaud that they were able to, with Candyman, the new edition version, really stuck to those core points. Got to a couple of those points, and I'll get to it a little bit later. A little bit too preachy. I felt like I was watching an activist film versus a horror film. I'll save that, but an hour and a half, 100% love that aspect of it.
Yeah, I think from a storyteller perspective, it's so much easier to when you have that smaller amount of time it's easier to get to your point. You know what I'm saying? When you have all that like you were saying, when you have all that drawn out time, it's extra stuff, man. There's so much filler that seems like comes through with it. And I mean, I understand there's some stories that need more time to tell. I get it. But those are your epics. Candyman stories don't need to be epic. They don't need to be a saga. They don't need to be drawn out.
Gotcha. Yo, how do you feel about the overall casting, man? Yo, don't kill me. I know I should have come better prepared, but the main actor, but I can't say his name, man. Yo, who's the main actor? We've seen him on Black Mirror. He's like the new Candyman. Man, I can't say his name properly. And shout out to our guy Proctor, Ryan Proctor, Yaha Abdul Mateen II. He's in like the DC movies now.
I'm not going to try to butcher his name, man, but he did an amazing job. In the movie, I really enjoyed watching his transformation, watching him go from like who he was in the very beginning of the movie, watching how he became what he became. Like it was like I said, Nia DaCosta's vision on it was really, really well.
For sure, yo, and I really do want to like highlight. You said a few minutes ago, but like the cinematic approach, man. I jotted down the puppetry, like the shadow puppetry was a really, really dope. Like because a lot of times when you're trying, you can either like try to tell that, and it just comes across as like, oh, they're just like running on with a long story that I don't really understand, or they can actually like film those scenes, and they made it super simple. They're like, we'll reference the old Candyman by just doing like this puppetry type stuff, and I loved how it just like the artsy approach was dope.
No, it was a good throwback to it. It's a good like nod to the originals. With that little motif of the paper puppetry going on, and that's kind of become like a staple for those movies. You don't really see that type of stuff in most other movies or any other, especially horror genre. So when people see that now, they're gonna always think of Candyman. So that's dope.
Oh yeah, man, for sure. Yo, did you feel it was a little bit, on the social commentary front, like a little bit too preachy, or do you feel like they hit it right on the point? Because I'm beginning to see what other people think as well, as I have my own stance. And I kind of got mixed reactions from like, the Rotten Tomatoes folks. Like some people said, nailed it. Some people felt like it was just overly too preachy, or like they had good messaging, but it just was delivered or executed not in the best way, maybe.
I don't know if it was too preachy. And the man, I'm the wrong person to ask this to.
Okay.
I feel like with Jordan Peele's approach to storytelling, it's a there's always a main I found there's always a main focus that he wants to make. There's always a main point that he tries to get to, and it typically happens, but not in the sense that I'm looking for, not in the sense that I think it was going to happen, not in the sense that makes it's always very subliminal, his approach to these things. And as blatant as in your face some of his messages are, there's always for me, every time, like when I watched Get Out, when I watched Us, there was always at the end of the movie, I'm always thinking to myself, and I had the same way with the into Candyman. I'm always like, wait, well, it's done. It's always wait, are we there? I'm always walking away with questions. And I think that might be intentional. He wants you to keep talking about it.
That is very true, and it is worth noting. I meant to say this earlier on. Shout out to everyone that's been involved in really the rollout of this Candyman film, especially the digital HD version. We've done a giveaway on niadacosta.com. Our guy Proctor, fellow military guy, you Trenton, and my boy Ryan Proctor, also military-based fellas, man. I had a great time reviewing that. So we have 5 reasons why you should make sure to pick up Candyman, in addition to what we're telling you, me and Big T. And shout out to Johnny Fastlane. He also did a giveaway in partnership with us. So had a lot of support, a lot of good folks at the Candyman team, and so on and so on. But I do want to ask you, T, did you get a chance to check out the alternate ending? Because that was something I didn't get a chance to check it out, but my boy Proctor was like, yo, oh my God, the alternate ending was crazy.
I didn't check out the alternate ending. I had no idea, but I know what I'm doing my afternoon.
Yeah, exactly, man. So definitely check that out. And you know what? Even for myself, it may paint a different picture. Basically, you know what? We got a second, man. Let me quote what my guy said. So this is on niadacosta.com. This is the 3rd reason why you should check out Candyman on digital HD. My man says, I won't spoil it, but when you see what the director also had in mind for the end of this one, you'll be left with that WWE chant, holy sh. Super dope when you see what the alternative could have been. Wow, ... So I'm excited, man, because it ended. I gotta tell you, that ending. Let's go ahead, without spoiling it, the overall feeling for the ending. You kind of hinted at it, T, about being like, oh, I need more. But just like what happened on screen, I was crushed, man. I get the overall messaging, but when you kind of grow attached to that particular character, and to see it, like, I get it, but at the same time, I was like, yo, that's so up, man.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like I said, the story's there. The story is it's honestly easy to follow. It makes sense. The story all wraps together. It makes sense. But the execution, man, there's something about this execution that every time I have to walk away from the movie, like I don't want to watch it again.
Gotcha. Yo, what are your like favorite type of horror movies, OT? Because I really do feel like there's 2 versions of horror films now, man. You got like the Freddy Krueger ones, the Halloween Kills, Michael Myers, those type ones. And then I feel like this is like a really big thing, like these psychological. And I know there was some gory moments in Candyman, but there's like a lot of like like message driven, psychological, not as much blood splatter, but like kind of like the fear, like the reality of this is real life type stuff. You know, in a weird way. You kind of like, do you lean more towards one of those genres?
So like growing up, man, I loved Freddy Krueger growing up. I couldn't get Freddy Krueger until I became a teenager and a young adult and figured out that he was a freaking child molester, and it was terrible, right? But the movies and the stories, mostly because of the over the top of it, it was all campy. You know what I'm saying? It was campy, a lot of blood shed, a lot of gore. As I got older, I really got into the more thriller aspects of horror. So like American Psycho, man. American Psycho is a scary movie. That movie is scary, and only because that's reality. You know what I'm saying? That could easily be a reality for somebody, for people. And then you get into the Rob Zombie movies, man. I love House of a Thousand Corpses. I love Three from Hell. I love those movies, and because I even love the Rob Zombie Halloween that he did when he remade Halloween. And what I like about his movies is, it brings it's still campy. It still has the gore and the blood and everything, but it brings it into a reality that's less scary, demon crazy creature based, and more, oh my gosh, this could be your neighbor based. And that's the type of scary stuff that really makes you on edge for me.
Hell yeah, man. Yo, we'll pretty much wrap it up there. T, any specific thoughts, or, I do want to find out at the end of the day, 92 version versus 2021 version. Bam, bam, bam. I do want to get that final verdict. But before we get to that final moment, is there anything that you just need to make sure to mention in regards to this Candyman 2021?
Outside of, if you are a fan of Candyman, definitely watch it and check it out, because they did a really good job of continuing the story of Candyman. I think that's the best thing I could say about this Candyman movie, is they did an actually really, really good story of continuing the legacy of Candyman, continuing that story.
For sure, man. And then at the end of the day, 92 version. I know you just saw that a few days ago, or rewatched it a few days ago, man. And then, of course, the new version. Sometimes it's unfair sometimes to be able to do comparisons, right? Because so much time has passed. But as far as ultimately, man, what's the verdict on the comparison?
I mean, you're always going to have, with the original, you're always going to have that aspect of it, that it was the original, that it was, nobody had done it before then. So that always hits hard. Like, I mean, you go back to this, the first time you watch The Sixth Sense, that feeling, those originals will always have that thing. And then you get all these remakes that have happened, and this franchise becomes, I think this new one compared to the old one is probably the best remake we've seen for Candyman to date, honestly. The Farewell to the Flesh, nothing to take away from any of the other Candyman iterations that have came. They were all good in their own aspect, but this one actually, it tells. We got a different side of the story from a different perspective that I don't think had been told in the previous Candymans. So I think it held up okay. I don't know if anything's ever going to be as good as the original. I'll say that. But I think it holds up very, very well against it.
100%. I'm excited, man. I'm really, really thankful that we can just chop it up, man, because we do so much stuff behind the scenes, man, and with the site that we don't get a chance to really just, broadcast our thoughts, man, and a little bit of foreshadowing to everyone who makes it to this point. Next week, Big T, you're going to talk about why French Montana is the GOAT, in your opinion, right? Why French Montana is the GOAT of Morocco, right?
I'm not going to sit here and say that I say French Montana is the GOAT. You put that out there. I said French Montana is better than people give him credit for.
Yo, that's why his new album is called They Got Amnesia, right? Like, they forget that he put out a lot of bangers. So I'm excited. We the ideas that we will talk about French Montana's place in hip hop. Is he overrated, underrated, just rated enough? If you do get a chance to watch this before we chop it up about French Montana, check out his new LA Leakers freestyle. We do have it on attacktheculture.com. That boy's got some bars. I didn't even realize he could actually freestyle, man. It's crazy.
He killed that too. He crushed it.
Yo, T, appreciate you, man.